Cities do things, and federal governments do not. Every year they get together at the United Nations, every year they talk about things, but there's virtually been no action at a federal level across the world, whereas cities have already taken something like 250 million tons of CO2 out of the air. Cities deliver services. The public knows whether the service is there or it's not there. Federal governments tend to reallocate money, and they do it in ways where it's very hard to track the results of any of their legislation.
Does the C40 really have power? Do they have teeth to make real change?
We don't come in and tell you what to do for your city. You're the mayor. You decide what's important in your city. What we can do is we can come in and provide expertise to accomplish what you've told us you want to accomplish. We can network you with other cities who've done similar kinds of things, and you can find out the pitfalls and you can get some advice. And it's also very useful when you're trying to sell something to your constituents to say, well, they do it successfully elsewhere. That really is a very big help.
Right, and you know, this is your third term. When you look at how New York is now compared to when you first took office, how has it changed?
Well, we've dramatically reduced the greenhouse gases that we are putting into the air. New York is different than other cities in that 80% of our greenhouse gases come from buildings, 20% from transportation. And so we've arranged for banks to make loans to buildings to convert their boilers from using heavy oil to using natural gas, and they can pay back the loans with the savings, and the payback is within a year or two, and then after that it's just a big benefit for the landlord, but it's also a big benefit for the community. And if you paint the roofs white, your electric bill, if it's a 5-story building, goes down by 25% overnight.
Which is extraordinary.
That's for a few cans of paint.
A little more than a year ago, Hurricane Sandy hit this region with a force that really no one expected. What has that done to change the mindset about climate change here in this area? Because a lot of people thought it was something that was really affecting people elsewhere.
I think, number one, there's nothing like a wake-up call to clarify your thinking when your house or your friend's house is underwater. We are strengthening our big buildings, our infrastructure, whether it's telephone system or power system or ability to heat, transportation system. And then what it did here is it just pointed out to everybody, we live in a coastal city. And most people are above the water level, but only above the water level when the water acts normally.
Do you think the role of a modern mayor has changed? I'm not sure somebody who was going to hold this office decades ago thought of climate change as something that was part of the job description.
No, I think there's an awful lot of cities where they still don't think that's part of the description. But the bigger cities, which is what the 63 cities that C40 is made up of, they do. And for example, you look at Beijing. We all saw the stories in the newspaper of the air. You couldn't see 2 blocks. That's just not tolerable. That's hurting people's lungs, going to reduce life expectancy, and hurt their economy. So the mayor of Beijing's got to find some ways to do it. Now, he might not do it through C40, he might not include us, but the federal government is representing everybody, and they may be able to gloss over it. The mayor cannot.
All of these policies that you've put in place, when you look at the C40 chairmanship, what do you think your legacy is?
If you can convince people that government can work in the interest of the public as opposed to the interest of the politically astute and special interests, you will have made a real contribution. And I'm not going to take an answer from government, oh, that's just the way it is, some people should be left out, or just there's nothing we can do about it, or it's hopeless. And the legacy of the fact that it can be done and that the public can then hold future elected officials to feet to the fire, that would be a great legacy.